It's been a while. In my past videos, continuously talking about depression and being stressed and ADHD and whatever other waffle I talk about. Anyway, okay, so I have got myself into another little hobby. The whole hobby thing, I'm not coming at this with another sort of type video of that. But anyway, let's talk about this, right? I have got a Goosky S2 Max. Let's get it out the box here. Okay, Goosky S2 Max. Years and years ago, my dad used to fly helicopters. He would never let me have a go, and so I guess this is another childhood need. Anyway, I've just been out flying. It's quite hard. It's hard to do. It's not easy. Every video that I've looked at on YouTube so far is someone who is already experienced, someone who can fly really well, or someone that's been flying but hasn't kind of gone to that 3D level of experience. But they can sort of fly a helicopter. So I'm coming at it from the point of view, this is my first time. This is actually my second helicopter that I've got. Years ago, and years ago, I believe there was a very small motor, battery-powered helicopter for indoors, which was called a Piccolo. I believe that's right. I believe it was called a Piccolo. It was tiny. I believe it was probably smaller than this. Maybe like the S1, Goosky S1. Maybe even smaller than that. But, however, I just remember that my dad had got it because when the weather was really bad, you could fly indoors. Or when I say indoors, in a sports hall with a flying club. Anyway, so yeah, always fancied one. Got one now. This is the Goosky S2 Max. Right, where I'm coming from is I went out flying. I'm not very good. And the first thing I did was smash the airframe. So airframe's here. The front section of the airframe is okay, relatively okay. I know it's a little bit sort of smashed on that side. The back end broke off because I come into the ground a little bit too hot and heavy. And I've done the same thing with this one now. I've now broken this side here, and I've broken the part that goes around the motor frame, just sort of broke it through there. And now I've got two more airframes coming at the moment. So I've just took it, I took it out flying a second ago. The other thing that I actually broke a few days ago was the main shaft that runs down to the motor. As I was spinning the blades, I just noticed that the top was sort of cantering. However, this morning I've been out flying and I've noticed that the main head, the shaft on this side, I think has bent. So in the packet, I believe that bar there is for the top head, the rotor head. I think we've got some fixing screws there. And yeah, I think that's the motor head bar, which now makes every little bit of sense because I looked at it the other day when I was replacing the main shaft. Just a little bit confused, but now it makes every little bit of sense. So basically, I think I'm going to need to get a stock of these, a stock of airframes, and a stock of the shaft, the main motor shaft. I don't know what the proper word for it is. However, anyone who flies helicopters will probably be screaming down the camera right now, why don't you have why don't you have a sim? So at the minute, in order for me to get a sim, I'm gonna have to spend 150, 160, maybe more to get a radio, and then I've only got a laptop, so I'll have to see it works on a laptop, or I'm gonna have to buy myself maybe even a little desktop cube of some kind, and then connect that to my TV. So at least I've got a large enough screen to be able to watch it on. So yeah, right now I don't have one, so it's just a case of going out, practicing, crashing, repairing, you know. So the repair I'm going to do now is to the head. Let's put these tools on the side. I don't have all of the correct tools at the moment, but I do need some. Luckily, I did find an Allen key that fits these small Allen heads that the majority of the S2 is actually bolted together with. The other little thing that I could probably really do with is just a tiny bit of Loctite, but I don't have any of that yet either, which is a bit rubbish. Also, the other tool which would be really handy would be to pop off the arms. So at the moment, anyone who builds helicopters is going to cringe at me right now. Come on. Oh, actually, I'll tell you what, I'll do it from here. Let's get the cover off. Move out of the way. I've been looking for some videos on YouTube, you know, from people from the very beginning, like me, faffing around with the wrong tools. I'm not going to break it. I will do every bit of me not to damage, mangle the, you know, any of the parts that are on here with the relatively incorrect tool that I've got. But I just want to see, I want to see some more videos online of someone starting from the beginning, because we can kind of learn together. We can learn together, make silly mistakes. It's all well and good watching someone who's got all the experience and all the tools and all the knowledge and the know-how and yeah, sure, the experience. Oh, I've done that before. Wouldn't recommend it. It will break. You'll damage it. You'll do this. Then fine. We can accept the experience of others. I just don't like the fact that I've seen a lot of people, and even some comments, you know, through sort of social media. Oh, you're doing this wrong. You're doing that wrong, etc., etc. You know, everybody has to start from somewhere, right? So what we're going to do is get this Allen key, take the blades off, and in my van somewhere I do actually have a proper set of a proper set of ratchets that will get this. Oh, actually, I think I've got maybe a little nut spinner somewhere as well in the shed. I should get that really, instead of being a complete moron. But like I said, sometimes you have to. Right, these there's two little flat washers on here. I do know when I took them out before, so you've got to be careful to not lose them. Initially, I actually thought that maybe this, what is now I know as to be a washer, I thought that perhaps that was a part of the blade itself, but it's not. That's just fully all plastic. Let's put them to one side so we don't lose them. Put the nut back on the thread. You can't really put the washers You can't really put the washers on this little bolt because the hole is too big, so they just fall off anyway, so don't lose them. Right, let's try the other side here. So I haven't removed this, but I think from what I could see, I think there's a bolt through there. So let's take this one out. Okay. So if you are someone that's picked up one of these for the very first time, and maybe you're not mechanically minded, I don't know. I don't think you'd really want one of. Actually, I'm talking crap really. I was just about to say you might not want one of these if you're not mechanically minded, because you are going to have to do some work. You are going to have to make some repairs, and I'm sure if you're part of a club and you crashed your helicopter and it's in 400 pieces, I'm sure someone at that particular club would be happy to rebuild it for you if you're not happy to do the work yourself. But what I will say is some of these parts probably are held on with a touch of Loctite. And I think, am I spinning? Am I spinning? I think I might be spinning, which is a bit of a pain if I am, because this is literally the only little Allen key that I've got. Yeah, okay, let's work with this then. What can we do? I was trying to find what Allen keys actually were the correct size, and all I kept finding were little links to say that the Allen key heads were 1.5 mil. So, just for cheap, I bought myself a couple of these. However, I don't think it is the correct size. I think they're slightly oversized. Oh, that one works. Oh yes. I did buy 2 of these. Well, they came as a 2. Let's see if it works. So we'll put this in this side, which it does fit. Oh, that's not good. I could feel that slip. Yeah, that's not. Oh dear. That's not working. Let me see. Will that go? Yeah, so that's strange. So that part there is... that part fits and that doesn't. How stupid. Oh, that's what you get for buying cheap rubbish. Oh, did that actually loosen? I think it may have. No, it did not. So inside here is clearly absolutely covered in Loctite, I would imagine. So for me to try and put it back together again may not be doable. Right, so because I've never taken this apart before, I need to make sure that there's no washers I'm going to lose. Okay, right, okay, so as you take the screw off, there, oh, Okay, as you take the screw off, there's actually bearings. Okay, so come on then, gently. Right, there is a tiny washer. Then there's like a bearing plate, if you like. Then there's a bearing ring, another bearing plate, and then we've got the main screw. So when you take these off, be real careful. Really, really careful not to lose them. Which is easier said than done when your Allen key feels like it's stuck. Tell you what. Anybody that's actually taken one of these apart is laughing at me right now. Right, let's thread that back in there so I can pull the Allen key off. Okay, now we have to be real gentle not to lose any of this. See, if I put the Allen key back in there and spin it back out again, it should be looser. Right, I've got my box in front of me, so I'm going to just sit that bolt there, and then I've got the other side to do, which might not be very easy. Considering how tight it is. Right, let me see if I can hold. So this bar is actually bent, so I mean if I break it, I break the, if I angle the bar, then I angle the bar. No, that's not going anywhere. Okay. So in the head there should be, I'm guessing, at a guess, there must be some small bearings in there too. There's another. God, I need to take glasses off, I can't see. So there's another washer. Look, a copper washer there. Is that a washer? Okay, so let's put that copper washer over. Ooh, over the bolts that I've got here. So there's a copper washer, then there's a steel type washer, which is relatively large. Then there's two bearing, well there's one main bearing, and then there's two like steel cups that go either side. Slide that all the way out. So I don't know if that's, I don't think they're bearings, I think that might be maybe just a plastic collar. Oh yeah, she's bent. Oh, so annoying. Right, okay, so this is slide. Need to get that. There's like that washer, that copper washer on the inside there, and then actually, okay, so it looks like the little bearing inside there too. Okay, so that copper washer up there goes on the shaft and sits up there first. I want that other plate to come out. So there must be two bearing sets that sit in there. There's one there that's fixed in this first section, and the second set that fits here. So I'm going to try to keep that together as best as I can and sit that bearing race there, and then there's this washer, copper washer, and now I need to try and get this Allen key out of here somehow. Okay, have I got it? Yep, I think I do. What's slightly concerning is when I put this back together, I don't know how tight I'm going to be able to get these bolts. Okay, let's put that bolt up there. I'm almost thinking maybe I need to leave it for a bit until I can get some Loctite, because you do not want these flying off and they're spinning around at a crazy speed. I don't want to go and loose through vibrations, because they will come out. So I think what I'll do is build it up, put it to one side. I'll just have to go and buy some Loctite. That shaft there. Put this one in the bag of doomed parts. I have every faith that that bag is going to get fuller. Okay, let's slide the shaft through there. Okay, that looks to be about the centre. Once everything's built back up again, then it should sort of centre itself as you bolt it up. So what I want to do is get this copper washer here, and then that goes on there first, like that, and then I'll grab the copper washer from the other side. Hold on a second. So okay, strange. Is it strange? Let's remove that copper washer a sec. Let's have another little look at it, because that washer there looks different. It looks like it's slightly dished. And that one does not look dished. Anyway. Goes on that side. This goes this side. And that slides up like that, okay? Then you get these parts here. That must go on there like that, because that looks the same. And then let's slide that off, okay, and put these inside here. No, come on. There we go. Slide that on there like that. And then do that up, nice and soft. And then we've got the copper washer on that side, and then we'll slide that up there like that. Okay, and everything's nice and square as it should be. And then get this. And then we'll get it's strange because one side like physically appears to be built slightly different from the other, because the other side had another washer there, but this one does not appear to have one at all. And you can see the bearing race, and you can't see a washer. Anyway. Let's tighten this down. Okay, and then get this in here. We'll see how this goes. I should really be putting some oh. There's a lot of play in that one. This one's very minimum play there. However, this one's got a lot of... I wonder if that side does not have another washer in it, and it's quite loose, which I would expect it to be, but this one's very firm and sticks. So does that other washer not need to be in there? It's strange if they build it up like that, right? This one, does that need to be solid like that? I wonder. Let me take it back out again and remove that washer. But then does that put a lot of slop in the head if it's not in there? Take them out a second. That there. Slide that bearing cap out. Right, okay, hang on a second, hang on. Let's do that a second. Okay. Right, what I'm going to explain here is that the bearings, okay, okay, I want to take this side off now. I bet this side's coming out, isn't it? Okay, let's take that side, put that down there. Right, what I'm going to explain, or trying to explain, as I removed each part, I was trying to look at the washers and how things were placed, and etc, etc, etc. Now I'd expect both sides to be built up exactly the same. One side appeared to have 2 extra washers and that side didn't. I just would not expect it to be like that. However, it was. So if I can slide this out again without losing the copper washer here. I did keep everything with everything as it came off. However, let me take that copper washer off there. So they're exactly the same. So there's one either side. And then we've got this extra washer here, which was on that side. And that side was getting stuck a lot. And this side, however, so we've got the race here. And then the ball bearings run in a cup. Now on that side, the cup was that say, imagine this is the bearing and this is the cup. The bearing fits inside the cup and just slides around that cup internal. On this side, you got the cup. There was a washer was on top of it. So the bearing sat on top of the washer, which just doesn't appear to be right to me. Anyway, let's take this out of here. Right, so that's the cup there. And then there's like a little bearing race that those bearings sit around. And then this washer then just goes on this side of that bearing race, so that those two, strange, really strange. Okay, let's go with that. Push that through. Come on. Okay. Oh no, that's wrong. Come on, dude, think about this. I need this to go on there. Try that again. Okay, right, so that fits on there. Okay, that copper washer goes on there. Ooh. Washer goes on there like that. Then we get this side here. And that slides on there like that. Okay, so now both sides are the same. Same washers in the same places. Okay. However, now they're both in a position where they don't sort of drop on each other. I don't know. Okay, so as I was saying in the beginning, if you're not sure, get someone who is positively sure. Need some decent Allen keys, really. This probably won't go online because the video is too long and too stupid, and I'm an idiot. Anyway, let's build it back up. Let's get these popped back on here, like so. And let's get this one back up here and put that one there. Oops. So, using a proper tool, that would be a lot easier. Okay. I might do a test flight in the garden, but just on like normal mode. When I say normal mode, I mean like beginner mode. The worst thing about this at the moment is I don't have Loctite, so I've not been able to properly secure that, and I don't have two proper decent Allen keys to really snug them down, but I can't feel any play in the head. I can't feel any play in the head, so they're snug. I'm going to get these so they are snug too, not too tight, not too loose. That's too tight. Just leave that for a second. Put the other one on. Basically, I was showing a little trick that if you hold the helicopter and give it a flick, if the propellers shift in one place or like move forward, then they're okay. If you over tighten and you shift it and they stay where they are, then that's too tight. Also, they can be too loose, so you don't want them just flapping around. But it's weird because I've seen a few professional helicopter flyers, and their blades either appear to be like too tight, where they can literally hold the end of the blade. You see that? They hold the end of the blade and it starts to move, right? But I've seen them where they hold the end of the blade and the blade goes around. I've seen some where they stop flying and the blade, I don't know, blades appear to be too loose. I don't know. I am not an expert whatsoever. I'm just figuring this out. And this is the one thing that I particularly miss from the YouTube sort of scenarios. Everybody that comes on, everybody is already the expert. And I don't mean like talking rubbish expert. I mean, they are generally very knowledgeable on this stuff. But there's not enough of idiots like me who are like putting videos up going, look, this is me. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm having a go. Let's check that out. Okay, so just touch in there. Too loose. So I'll show you what I mean about the whole flicky. Hold the heli like this, and when you do that, they kind of, actually did that one move or did that one stay? Oh no, that moved. Let's go a bit more on the back end. Yeah, okay, I think that's okay. Okay, so let's just check, make sure that we're tight here. Snip that up there. Give that one a little nip. Give that one a little nip. And that one's nipped. Just want to make sure that nuts and bolts are relatively secure. That one's not secure. It's just, is that just spinning? Spinner. maybe there's a bolt on the bottom of there. Anyway, try that one, and that one, and that one, and that one. Anything that's loose is gonna, well, either fall off and you're gonna crash, or anything that's loose will probably make the aircraft fly a bit strange, and you won't know what it is until it's in bits on the floor. And then you probably realise that one of these bolts came loose and now you've got problems. I don't think too many of these are causing an issue. It is brand spanking new, but the issue is going to be the bits that I've already replaced where I don't have any Loctite. Things can vibrate and screws will remove themselves. So I'll do one small test flight and then I think that's it. I'll get some Loctite and make things better. As better as they can be. Okay, yeah, so I've replaced that shaft. That's all good. Oh, sorry. Itchy nose. Let's put this back on. Now, earlier on when I took this out for a flight where I thought something was a little bit off, it wasn't very windy, and it wasn't stable. It just kept drifting to one side, and I had to give it a lot. I had to sorry, I forgot what the terminology is. So as I was throttling up and trying to get to a hover, I was having to really lean this over just to get it to stay in one spot. The second I let it go to center, it just would disappear. Anyway, I'm wondering if I go back to the field and have one more little go. What I'll do is end this where we are. 48 minutes. Oh my god.